Right. I'm Simon Maina Karume, lecturer, Computer Science Department, ICT Director, Masinde Muliro University, a researcher for 2 projects, Brain Gain Initiative, it's an e-infrastructure project, and HP Catalyst project. It's also an e-infrastructure project. Brain Gain Initiative, in the Brain Gain Initiative at Masinde Muliro, I'm a principal investigator. HP Catalyst Initiative, I am the IT lead director. Now I'm looking at how to synergize the infrastructure initiatives to foster e-research. One of the things, the motivation to this study, why I thought of doing this, is because we have seen skyrocketing education and research demand in Africa. There are very many needs coming up, and I thought this is why UNESCO, HP, European Union also, they are coming into Africa. There is skyrocketing research demand in Africa. We also have increased needs for open education resources. I enjoyed when Bitange Demo said, and of course I did witness the launching of open data in Kenya. We really have an increased need for open education resources. The other motivation is improved connectivity. We have, thanks to UbuntuNet, thanks to Kenneth in Kenya. At Masinde Muliro, Western Kenya is 450 kilometers from here. I'm able to access 100 meg, thanks to Kenneth. It's very improved. I used to have a lot of complaints when I was appointed director in 2009, but today, people seem to be comfortable. Nobody is coming to my office. The only thing they come for is a cable is cut. But it is not a question of speed. It is the cable is cut, and we are dealing with that. So how do we optimize this speed? This motivated my study here. Data-intensive research projects due to emergence of large e-infrastructure projects in Africa. We have seen an increased demand. People have submitted proposals and requirements for high-performance computing on the lines to support this data-intensive research. I think we have a remedy, and the remedy is e-learning and e-research. But the cost of remedy is very high. And the higher HAEs have limited resources to invest in ICT. That is my motivation. And therefore, my research objectives are here. How can emerging infrastructure initiatives, how they are seeking to leverage the improved connectivity in research, how they are applying synergy and embeddedness in e-infrastructuring, how Africa HAEs can leverage improved connectivity and e-infrastructure to foster e-research, and how Africa HAEs taking part in e-infrastructure initiatives can, one, consolidate their efforts to improve Africa's visibility in the e-research world map, and how they can incorporate more researchers and HAEs to form thematic-focused communities of practice. We already have people participating in e-infrastructure research projects. Several universities I know of will provide the data in data research. Now, my research approach was, one, literature survey for secondary data. Online research methods were applied because some of the people I wanted to learn from were at a distance. It was not funded to do this, so it was a personal initiative from using a little bit of funds from my research project, so that is the UNESCO Brain Gain, and of course it's not a lot of money, but I invested a bit of it. Yeah, then telephone interviews, of course, to be able to catch up with some people who are within reach. For example, I would call Mark Beron is the international project leader. He is in France, and once occasionally we converse through telephones and also through online emails. Interviewees were drawn from UNESCO and HP Brain Gain Initiative, which is one e-infrastructure initiative, and I also took HP Catalyst Initiative. The reason why I took these people is because the map that I have seen only looks at the European Union projects. And there are other projects, as I am going to demonstrate here, which are lacking from that world map. And this is why I'm looking at how do we synergize to make these projects also visible. Number 3, I also scrutinized artifacts. This includes project websites. For example, I know Ghana is doing something on environment pollution. Is it Ghana or Nigeria? Something on pollution. I know that Mekere University in Ethiopia is doing something on is it environmental? That is the changing. Yeah, something on environment. Yes, and there are quite a number of other universities. So I tried to look at also call for proposal documents from this project to see how they were looking at funding constraints, and they placed some constraints in favor of ICT applications in research, synergy, and embeddedness. The definition of infrastructure, I don't need to go through it, an integration of technology and organization that support research undertaken through distributed regional, national, and global collaborations enabled by the internet. It embraces these things, and some people have put it in 6 layers. The European Union, I went through their website, they have 6 layers, and I thought 2 can be combined. For example, the HPC and grid nodes, the technology layer, according to me, could be, actually connectivity and HPC and grid nodes. In my proposed model, I have put those under technology. Data grids, I have placed them differently. And then human research, as Professor Kashoda was saying yesterday, I thought I also am looking at that as a layer within this. And now, some of my findings from brain gain initiatives, I looked at Model Synergetic Traits in brain gain initiatives. And some of the synergy traits, one of the synergy traits in that project is they are attempting to leverage existing relationship with grantees to develop new collaborations through project phases. There are 2 things they are doing here, inter and intra-phase collaboration. What UNESCO HP have done, they have donated equipments, e-research equipments to institutions. And therefore, at the center of the model is the distributed computing infrastructure to connect the researchers inside and outside Africa. I say this strategy takes advantage of embeddedness by drawing on existing relationships and to develop new relationships and create synergy by facilitating new collaborations. And this is an inter-university synergetic approach. They have managed to connect very many universities. For example, Masinde Muriro already is collaborating with a university in Europe thanks to this project called the Alto University. It's a conglomeration of various colleges, and we are doing something together in this project. Now, the other synergetic trait I discovered is that they are trying to leverage the diaspora link to local universities to create an inter-scientist collaboration that reverses brain drain to brain gain. Before you receive funds, one of the things is that you must have somebody, a diaspora person, and then this diaspora person must commit that they are going to be part of this project and they are going to take part in this research. And therefore, when the UNESCO is funding the organization, a research project in Africa, that project must first of all have a local university researcher and a researcher in the diaspora. In our case, for instance, we identified a researcher in Finland who we are working together. Thanks to him, actually because of that link, we participated in Euro-Africa last year in Helsinki, Finland. We were able to go and present our project there because of the diaspora link. And that is a very good, I thought, a very good model of brain gain initiative. Now we have the multidisciplinary synergy to facilitate intra-university collaboration among disciplines. Now in the multidisciplinary synergy, we have, for example, before you are funded, you have 2 projects, distributed computing project research. For example, I am an ICT expert. I am in the distributed computing research area. But we have life scientists, the chemists. The chemists have to come, because what Brain Gain, for instance, said is that before we fund you, we need to see collaboration between a life science and a technology project. That's what they say. So the technology people, we say, okay, let's think about how do we come up with a high-speed research project. And then the life science, the chemist people who are ready, say, okay, we want to research on malaria drugs. And we say, okay, we are going to do this together. And that partnership was encouraged by that project. This is a multidisciplinary synergy strategy that facilitates intra-university synergy among various disciplines. And that is another trait. Another project model trait, very interesting again, was the project, the Brain Gain project seeks synergies, cooperation with existing infrastructure projects. And they work as much hard as possible to make sure you embed, the project is embedded in an existing infrastructure project. For example, I have given one example, number one in the yellow part there, linking the grid node at the University of Cheikh Aka Diop UCAD in Dakar, Senegal. We have met with the Senegalese in South Africa in 2 meetings, and their grid node is already linked to the European grid for e-science. The EGE, I think that's the one. Yeah, the UCAD grid, after UNESCO donated equipment, they came up with a grid node, and it was linked to what is existing. So Brain Gain is not starting its own project. That is where the embeddedness is coming in. It is trying to embed the grantees to existing projects. Again, at our university, Masinde Muliro node, our equipment, we set it up. We didn't have the expertise, and we are still moving slowly now. But we were able, thanks to Bruce Baker here, and thanks to the South Africa people, that we were able to get technicians involved from South Africa, University of Cape Town. We are at a stage where we are about to install the G-Rite middleware. We have not done that because, of course, the project is moving in phases. And we hope that by the end of the project, we will have set up our grid node complete with a Gaussian software for chemists to be able to use to simulate their own molecular chemistry and so forth. Of course, we have had the challenges, and I will say that's why I thought of coming up with a model of synergies. Now, we are also part of HP Catalyst project, and I looked at how the model, why we got the funds for HP Catalyst is because of certain traits. Number one, this model organizes grantees in this format. The HP Catalyst have formed consortia. The consortia are thematic focused. Now, then within, you identify your thematic area. As Masinde Muliro, we identified our theme, and it was within the Brain Gain. And you can see embeddedness here also, because they are trying to fund you. You can't be funded unless you are already part of a collaboratory project. So that's how they say it. In the call for proposals, they say you must be part of a collaboratory project. That is how they are trying to expand the infrastructure. And, so within a consortia, for example, if you are part of consortia 2, you become several institutions A, B, and C. Our project lead, in this project I'm the I'm the IT lead administrator. The project leader just a few days ago was in US to meet with the institutions A, B, and C. That is synergy. They didn't know each other, but the project has brought them together, and they are trying now to make use, if this is a chemist trying to do malaria drugs and the other person, then they can be able finally to collaborate. The reason why they say you must be part of a collaboratory project is because they thought you already have some equipment that we can add to, and if they are servers. For example, we have so far gotten three very expensive HP servers to dedicate to e-research. But the capacity is there, but how do we use them? Within the institution, for example, again, there was multidisciplinary synergy again. where the technology expert, in our case it was the ICT Directorate, came up, the education experts and the scientists, the life scientists, and we came up with a proposal that we submitted. Now, the other synergetic trait is that the approach reinforced, the collaborative approach is reinforced by placing specific funding constraints that prefers institutions which are actively engaged in other networks, partnerships, and which are engaged in currently funded projects, which could be enhanced by their participation. Now, I have data here of who is involved. I did not indicate the line of who is doing what. That would be the next stage. But what I tried to see is, I tried to group the participants in Africa to come up with some kind of who is doing what in which section of Africa. And the number of higher educations and projects involved in brain gain and HP catalyst. Ghana, there is one project for brain gain. They don't have a university taking part in HP catalyst. Nigeria, we have 1-1 and 1-1-1. The number of institutions is 1, and then we have that summary. In total, West Africa have 5 universities, 6 projects in brain gain, and 1 project in catalyst. Those are, in my opinion, e-infrastructure projects, because the funding, the proposals, the call for proposals was for e-infrastructure projects. So I'm assuming these people are part of e-infrastructure. Now, then North Africa. Okay, North Africa. What did we say?
4 minutes remaining.
4 minutes, okay. North Africa, I think, sorry for that. North Africa, we have 4 projects, 4 universities, 3 projects, 3-1. Central Africa, 2-2. Those are 4, a total of 2 projects. East Africa have a total of 7, just like West Africa. South Africa, we have, in this particular consortia, 2 consortia, South Africa had 5. And I know South Africa is part of many more infrastructure projects. But that is, so, but I didn't look at South Africa in the other infrastructure projects. I know they are part of many more, and they already have a grid infrastructure there, which is working. Now, I looked at this map, and if you look at this map, there is a concentration of infrastructure projects in East Africa and part of West Africa, right? That concentration. Looking at that vis-a-vis this map here, looking at that vis-a-vis this, you see where the brain gain and HP catalyst is concentrated is not included in this map. Therefore, what I am saying is that there are some lacking. 7 projects in East Africa are not there. 2 projects in Central Africa seem to be missing out. And 7 projects in West Africa seem to be missing out. Although Africa seems to have a whole, something seems to be happening. And this is my question. What is wrong? Why this map? And that is why I thought about synergy. Because maybe these projects are not visible in this map because we are lacking synergy. We are not cooperating, maybe. That's what I thought. But if you look at the participant of e-infrastructure projects, vis-a-vis this world map from the European Union, I think, right? I think something seems to be there. We need to do something because something is happening, but it is not visible, right? So that's what I thought. And how can this situation be improved? I thought we can do resource pooling and networking. We pool our ICT resources. Masinda Morino have received servers, Nairobi University, and this university in Nigeria and so forth. How can we pool together so that we work together? Then I thought, next, networking researchers and learners. How can we network these people? We see they are there. The problem is each one is working in isolation, right? We need synergies. That is the main problem. I'm looking at my question, research question here. Connect people with same unique interests. I'm thinking Nigeria, Nigeria have already done something in bioinformatics. Can we identify people interested in bioinformatics, bring them together to form a community of practice? Masinde Muliro seemed to be interested in computational chemistry. I know there is somebody in Tunisia doing the same. Can we bring them together again? Then capacity building, this is very key. Without capacity building, we're not going to make it. And in that, I thought of a synergetic e-research triple model. I came up with this model looking at, there is a training infrastructure I looked at from the trainings we had in South Africa with Bruce Baker and other trainings. So I came up with something I am calling Sustainable E-Research Synergetic Triple Model, a conceptual framework for Africa. I'm thinking that technology infrastructure, we are doing a lot in connectivity, yes, thanks to UbuntuNet, but technology is not only connectivity. We have other equipments to be put together. We are almost conquering the battle of connectivity, but we need synergy in high-performance computing and grid work. We need synergy there. The training, this is very key. What I have discovered, we opened a link between MUST, Masinde Muliro, and University of Cape Town. And now the greatest headache I have is training the scientists. Scientists cannot develop algorithms to submit data, right? Scientists can't do that. That is a technology one. And that is the headache I have. Training infrastructure, I'm thinking that because we are coming up with this new, Professor, I know what you said about human infrastructure. What we will need are training modules. We will need to prepare our scientists to use the grid. Otherwise, we are not going to move. We need training modules. We need these people. Those people who have gone to South Africa also. We need those training modules. Then at one corner I have e-research. Once we train them, we have the capacity. Then the e-research can go on. We can generate data, then into information, and of course that translates knowledge that is useful to us. We can think or discuss that model. It's a concept.
Time is up, please.
Yes, here I'm concluding actually. There are some concluding remarks. There are some invisible infrastructure research projects in Africa. There is need for coordinated synergies of infrastructure initiatives in Africa to make the participating projects visible. Who takes this challenge? And I threw it to UbuntuNet. I threw this. Who takes the challenge? Too soon. I am throwing this to Ubuntu. But we can think about how to coordinate us, or somebody else. We can discuss as Africa. Who takes up the challenge of synergies? And we can come up with a coordination strategy. Thank you.